I'm already laughing.
7, 6.
I'm Sophia Callie.
And I'm Margaret Crivelli, and you're watching the Delaware Dozen. This past Monday, former UD communications official Meredith Chapman was killed in a murder-suicide. According to Radnor, Pennsylvania police, Jennaire Giardeau, wife of the man Chapman was seeing, hid in Chapman's home around 7 p.m. and shot her as she walked in. Chapman was loved by many at UD. One of her former students, Emily Tyree, stated in a Facebook post, Chapman was the most amazing teacher who made Delaware 40 under 40 just shortly after she started at Delaware. A lover of life and someone who molded me into the professional I have become. Chapman will be missed by many here at Delaware.
After the 2018 student government election this past Friday, big changes are underway for our student body. Caroline Tobin spoke with the new student body president, Kevin Peterson, and vice president, Nick Ron, to find out their big plans. Here's the story. No.
That one was on.
After another successful SGA election, I spoke with our new student body president, Kevin Peterson, and vice president, Nick Ron, to hear their plan.
At first, I didn't really want to run and take the position, but I kind of felt that the experience that I had and my real commitment and drive to really changing Delaware's sexual assault policy and trying to get Delaware to be a Callisto campus, that's really what did it for me.
Callisto is a sexual assault reporting system that allows victims to report their evidence immediately and receive justice faster. Without a program like Callisto, survivors typically wait up to 11 months until they can begin that process. After Peterson's own experience with sexual assault on campus, it became his goal to bring Callisto to UD. As for Nick Ron, 3 years of experience as our senator made him ready for the next step to become vice president.
I have a lot of experience with my branch in SGA. So for me, it was like taking the extra step up, becoming vice president, where I could really see change happening. I've created change during my time as senator, and I know for a fact that I can facilitate change becoming VP. So I feel like it's definitely the right role for me. The biggest problem on campus for me, I believe it's getting students the help they need, mainly in regards to mental health. I feel like our campus is very underfunded and understaffed when it comes to this, and this is something that I want to work on as vice president.
For a university that talks about it a lot, it's not really diverse at all, and kind of just hatred and, I don't want to say hatred, but anger and false pretenses, they kind of build up naturally when you just have a homogenous group. Okay. So I'm really looking forward to working with Sue Groff, but also who's the Title IX coordinator, and working with Project Callisto to try and bring that to campus. Trying to continue the work that's been done with the Biden Institute and student government, and also trying to kind of act on the promises that we made to Dr. Walgast, who's the head of the counseling center.
I hope to continue my drive with environmental sustainability here. I also really want to help our student veterans. I feel like UD claims that it's a veteran-friendly campus, when in reality, there's a lot more that could be done for that. And also, I stress tailgating in my campaign. I really want to bring back the student experience to revolve around our sporting events and just any way that would increase our student attendance at all these events. I like the unique aspect of being called a blue hen. Just like walking on the green, just seeing like everything, everyone outside. I think that's like the most unique aspect.
For the Delaware Dozen, I'm Caroline Tobin.
It's not on.
It looks like big things are in store for our student body. That's great they're so dedicated to mental health awareness. This past Sunday, Delaware sorority Alpha Xi Delta hosted their annual Step It Up 5K for the charity Autism Speaks in efforts to raise autism awareness and donations for the foundation. According to race officials, the 5K was a huge success. Over 350 people participated in the 3.2-mile trek. Although no totals have been announced by the sorority, they predict this year's race to be one of the best they've ever had. The beneficiary, Autism Speaks, is an organization dedicated to promoting solutions across the spectrum and throughout the lifespan for the needs of individuals with autism and their families through advocacy and support, as well as increasing understanding and acceptance of people with autism and advancing research into causes and better interventions for autism-related conditions. A great cause and a great job by Alpha Xi Delta.
This past Sunday was Earth Day. Many students at UD celebrated our planet's beauty by posting scenic pictures on their Instagrams. But that's not all. I went around campus to get a perspective on other ways University of Delaware celebrated.
To me, Earth Day is a reminder to reduce, reuse, and recycle, and to take care of our Earth's natural resources.
Another day for us to appreciate the world we live in and just being outside and enjoying the nature, the nice breeze.
When I hear Earth Day, I think of beautiful places around the world. I checked Instagram on Earth Day to see pictures from different places that had so much life and beauty in them.
I think people littering definitely has a huge impact on the earth, like throwing things out on the side of the highway. I like to recycle, and I remind my family and friends to recycle. And I also don't use plastic water bottles. I use like a reusable water bottle instead.
I think one of the biggest concerns is with global warming and how we don't realize that our actions are really affecting the world around us. And I think that we don't really realize what we're doing because it's not having a big impact on us yet, but it can in the later years.
Earth Day is more than just once every year. The earth is beautiful when we choose to cultivate its beauty. When we conserve and protect our wildlife, we are enriching our planet as well. Animals are just as important to this world as us people. By keeping their habitats clean, we provide a safer environment for not only the species that inhabit it, but us as well.
I don't know if everyone knows, but at least the polar bears seem to be their habitats being endangered, or it's like melting away, like that's their home, and no one wants to have their home ever be gone.
Keeping our oceans clean will help to protect marine life and the reefs that are home to many fish. Of the 260 million tons of plastic the world produces each year, about 10% of it ends up in the ocean. 70% of the mass eventually sinks, which ultimately causes damage to the seabed below.
One way you guys can help the environment, or anyone can help the environment, is by planting more trees or planting flowers outside. Also, like when you go to the grocery store, you can maybe bring like your own bags to do your groceries in, or prefer for them to not give you plastic bags.
The Earth is home to 7.6 billion people and over 8.7 million species. Why wouldn't we want to make it the best it can be?
What a great way to celebrate good old Mother Nature. Stay tuned, Blue Hens, because when we come back, we have special guest Tyler Noley live in the studio to talk about what it takes to be a leader of a student organization here on campus.
All right, what do we got?
Just came in. Heart attack. 5'9", 300 pounds, 32 years old.
How the hell does that happen?
Can I get a, Could be developing diabetes. You have to exchange. Oh, yeah.
You're graduating. Watched TV. You won't even have to leave.
You can't do this.
Yes, can I get a...
Yeah, no, deep dish.
You have to make a change. Good job, Jim. You got an A+. Here are your fries, sweetie.
I still can't believe you give this child French
I know. But it's the only thing that'll make him stop.
Welcome back, Blue Hens. I'm Margaret Crivelli.
And I'm Sophia Callie. And we're joined now by Tyler Noley, who is the Vice President of Delaware's chapter of the Public Relations Student Society of America. So Tyler, please tell us, what is PRSSA?
So PRSSA is basically a pre-professional organization on campus that works to kind of further professional development for professionals or students, I guess, interested in pursuing public relations, communications, kind of anything in that field.
And what are your duties as Vice President?
So my duty currently, right now, is to, well, PRSSA technically is a national organization, so they have a parent chapter that kind of involves like actual professionals, and so we're the sub-student organization. So right now, we have a conference every year, so I prepare kind of fundraise over the summer to get money so that we can kind of fund our way to go there. I also kind of network and create events with our parent chapter to kind of make sure that our students are able to create connections that will further them in the future. And then I also kind of help the chapter put on events.
And how did you become Vice President? And what advice would you give to someone that wants an executive position?
So I actually found out about PRSSA my freshman year in one of the communication classes here at Delaware. And one of the professors just made an announcement in class, and I kind of found it interesting because I didn't really know what I wanted to do in communication. So I went to the first meeting, and then from there I just kind of stuck to it, and I really liked learning and kind of learning how to create my resume and better write cover letters and all the kind of skills that you're going to need once you join the professional working force. And that's kind of what led me to apply for eBoard, and from there, that's kind of how I ended up here.
So why do you think students should join PRSSA?
I think that PRSSA, aside from just being interested in public relations, if you're a communications interest or just kind of interested in anything within that field, it gives you the skills that will help you once you graduate to market yourself as a professional, whether that's dining etiquette or just writing resumes or cover letters or interview skills or basic skills you may need even in public relations. It kind of gives you the opportunity that you wouldn't get outside of the classroom.
And what should prospective students expect from the upcoming school year in PRSSA?
Well, I'm a senior, so next year the eBoard's going to have to kind of, I guess, leap forward and do that themselves, but I would assume that there are going to be a lot of guest speakers because we have guest speakers at every meeting, which is bi-weekly. We have field trips, which is really cool. You get to visit different agencies. And there's also a mentee-mentor program, so you kind of, if you're an underclassman, get to partner up with someone older to kind of learn the ropes of what it's like to be in the club.
Well, that sounds amazing. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Ag Day is coming up this Saturday. This is an annual event held by UD's College of Agriculture to celebrate and fundraise for their program. There will be all sorts of cool activities, such as meeting and interacting with some of the farm animals, a beehive demonstration, sample food tasting, and even an ice cream eating contest. The event will be running from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. down by Townsend Hall.
Air Band is tomorrow. Air Band is an annual dance competition between all of UD's Greek life, where each group must reenact a story through dance, along with wearing intricate makeup and costumes. This competition is full of intensity, with each sorority and fraternity practicing day and night, and even holding 6 a.m. practices. The groups keep their themes a secret, but they'll be revealed at the show tomorrow in the Big Bob. Tickets can be purchased online or at the door. Last year, Chi Omega took home the win with the Dark Knight. They look to repeat their championship tomorrow night. Coming up after the break, we have the executive producer of the bi-weekly show live in studio.
All right, what do we got?
Just came in. Heart attack. 5'9", 300 pounds, 32 years old.
How the hell does that happen?
Can I get a, Could be developing diabetes. You have to make a change.
Oh, yeah.
You're graduating. Watch TV. You won't even have to leave.
You can't do this.
Yes, can I get a...
You gotta know how deep this.
You have to make a change. Good job, Jim. You got an A+.
Here are your fries, sweetie. You go.
I still can't believe you give this child French fries.
I know. But it's the only thing that'll make him stop.
What matters is the way it ends. And they've got 16 mutual friends. It's just that animal spirits. And these that heartfelt lyrics. Put them together and you can hear it. Oh, song everyone knows. This is that animal spirits. And these that heartfelt lyrics. Put them together and you can hear it. Oh, where the story goes.
Welcome back, Blue Hens. You just watched a clip from the opening of STN's comedy program, The Bi-Weekly Show. And now, we are joined with someone whose fingerprints are all over that production, Devaney Burke.
Hi. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for joining us. So, what exactly is The Bi-Weekly Show?
So the Bi-Weekly Show is a bi-weekly comedy show. We basically sort of mix Saturday Night Live with The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. So it's really cool. It's half pre-recorded content and half live, and we have a real live studio audience.
That's amazing.
What would you say is your favorite part about being a part of the Bi-Weekly Show?
For me, my favorite part is probably getting to see an idea that you actually come up with. So seeing the creative aspect really come to life on our show.
So what job do you have on the show?
So me, I'm one of 3 executive producers. So we're the people who are actually running live TV shows like this, being the director or being the host. And we also decide on all the content that goes into the show and make sure that it all gets done in a timely manner.
Do you have a sketch that you would say is your favorite?
Yeah, one of my favorites was a sketch that we did 2 years ago, so while I was a sophomore, called The Fratchler, where it's basically making fun of the TV show The Bachelor, so sort of a spoof off of that. And that one ended up getting over 45,000 views on YouTube, so that was really cool.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
amazing.
Yeah, that's crazy. So how long has the show been running?
The show is actually on its 31st season now, so we've been going for 15 years, which is really cool because sometimes we'll have old alumni of the show comment on our Facebook posts and things like that. So we really still have a following of people who were on it back in the day.
Thank you so much for joining us and telling us more about your show.
Thank you.
World Press Freedom Day is coming up on Thursday, May 3rd. It is a day to raise awareness for the importance of freedom of the press. Communication students here at the University of Delaware will be holding an event to celebrate the day from 10 to 2 p.m. at Perkins Student Center. There will be booths and activities that will help to inform the public on different principles that are incorporated with a free press.
Also happening on campus was an event held by the Biden Institute. Joe Biden came to campus and students got to ask him questions. DelDozen's Javier Aguiar went out to get a recap of the event.
Wednesday evening, the founding chair of the Biden Institute and the 47th Vice President of the United States, Joe Biden, hosted an event called You Discuss, a conversation with UD students giving them an opportunity to discuss society's most pressing issues. The event was held in the Trabant Theater and had hundreds of students lined up outside the door. Students were required to register for the event online to reserve their spots to hear the eminent UD alum speak. And you can bet the theater was a packed house.
There's so many issues that everybody cares about, but nothing really happens unless the students make it happen. And that starts with everybody. It's not just one person, it has to be a movement.
As part of the Biden Institute's Make It Count campaign, UD has paired with TurboVote, an online voting registration service, in hopes of increasing voting conversation and meaningful action to create change amongst students. Topics of conversation included Biden's career in public service and the state of politics in our country and around the world.
You know, he really got all the students involved. A lot of students asked really great questions. And, you know, we got to hear a great amount of insight of what it was like to be a senator for a number of years and also a vice president of the United States.
For the Delaware Dozen, I'm Javier Aguiar.
What a cool event. It's so great to see how much Biden gives back to UD. So Mar, are you excited for our band? I know you're a part of a sorority here.
I am. I'm part of the reigning champs, Chi Omega. We won last year. It was a great experience, and I can't wait for tomorrow. It's going to be an absolutely amazing event.
Do you think you guys are going to win again?
I don't want to jinx us. I definitely don't want to jinx us, but I'm really excited to see all the great competition between our Greek life chapters. They really do a lot, and I'm really excited just to have all of our talents showcased.
I know I'm excited to go because last year was amazing. Well, folks, that's all for today. Thanks for tuning into the Delaware Dozen. I'm Sophia Callie.
And I'm Mark Ravelli. Thank you for watching.